All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our February Focus on America meeting. My name's Ed Poniatowski with Focus on America. I'd like to welcome everybody here. I see a lot of new faces in the audience, so thank you for coming. I'd like to welcome our guests who we'll be talking with later, who come up here and introduce themselves later. But before we get started, I'd like to ask everyone in an opening prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us all here this afternoon. Thank you for all the blessings you've given us in our lives. We thank you for the wonderful country in which we live. Thank you for our family, our friends, our neighbors. We especially thank you for the farmers and growers who work very hard every day to put food on our table. Lord, we ask you to bless them, bless our country, bless us all in the name of Jesus, your Son. Join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Take your seats. I'd like to welcome you all here, especially like to welcome our viewers who are in our outstations in Birmingham and Mobile and across the nation with Health Freedom. Next slide, please. Just to review our mission and vision statement for Focus on America, our vision to promote individual liberty, family values, and the U.S. Constitution by active participation in the political process. Our mission statement, how are we going to accomplish our vision? Encourage Americans to be informed members of their communities, develop candidates to restore God-given, constitutionally guaranteed liberties, and replace elected officials who do not represent their constituents. That's who we are in a nutshell. At this time, I'd like to introduce our founder and chief guru, Becca Rogers.
Harry gave me a tickle. Or something. Anyway, we are the only country in the world where our Food and Drug Administration is ran by the same organization. So Food and Drug Administration. They feed each other. Our food is toxic, so we have a drug for that. Sounds like a conflict of interest, much like the rest of politics. So anyway, I want to cover a couple of things with you, then we'll get straight to the other important things, which is our farmers and our guests that are here today. On March 26th, District 10 will be holding a special election for the office that was vacated by Cole. It will be between Teddy Powell and Marilyn Lands. Teddy Powell is the Republican, Marilyn Lands is the Democrat. There may not be much difference. So before you think I'm voting for a Republican just because they have an R beside their name, I want you to consider the other R's that are currently serving in office. Would it be so wrong to send a sign if you're going to get a Democrat either way? Would it be wrong to elect a Democrat and send a message to the Republicans? Focus on America is not going to endorse either candidate, and there's a reason. But that's something for you to think about. We need to stop doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. There are two bills, the Price Act and the Choose Act, that is for school choice. How many of you in this room are for school choice? How many of you homeschool, know someone that homeschools? Do you like the freedom that represents? Do you homeschool perhaps because you don't want government interference? Okay, if you encourage or support the Price Act or the Choose Act, how many of you also been told there's no such thing as a free lunch? Unless you come across the border. But anyway, that's a different story. So anyway, if you take funds through the ESAs with the Choose Act, which is sponsored by the leaders, Republican leaders in the state, it was written and supported by Kay Ivey. Both of those will allow you to get an educational savings account where funds will be put in. There will be a special um, committee formed. You have to register. You don't have to participate, but you can register. And your school home curriculum vendor now has to become approved through the state so that you can get paid. It's only a lot of these bills say may instead of shall, so you need to pay close attention to the mays and shalls. Both of them leave it open so that now, once you take money from the government, they can regulate or have the opportunity to regulate who they approve, the curriculum they approve, state standards, all those things we tried to get away from. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Focus on America does not support either of these bills and will adamantly fight against them. What then would be the solution for those of us who support school choice? It could be as simple as a tax credit. We wouldn't have to spend millions to develop a special committee or finance through the state. It simply is a state credit, a tax credit. If you have a child under this age and you choose to homeschool, you still get to control the curriculum. It's just a matter of time if you participate in a government program. Till now, you have to have standardized tests. You can't teach religion. You can't do this. What happens when they want to make that curriculum the curriculum we were trying to get away from? So please read those bills, pay attention to the shalls and mays, and then make your own decision. But Focus on America does not support either of those bills. We do have a bill that is sponsored. It is SB 72 by Arthur Orr is the sponsor for it. It protects the physician and patient relationship. It's one of the ones we tried to get through last year. We didn't get it sponsored. We did get it sponsored this year. Arthur Orr is taking care of that for us. Be sure, call his office, call your senator right now. Call your senator. Don't send an email. A call takes 5 seconds. Just leave them a message and let them know. I want you to support SB 72. What does this bill do? How many of you, if you don't want to raise your hand, you don't have to, would like to have access to ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine or things that may be used for early intervention? You know, before they were told they couldn't do that. This bill will allow your physician to treat you the way he or she thinks you should be treated with any off-label use of an FDA drug. They cannot be penalized. It does not, they have to give you informed consent to tell you, okay, if you take ivermectin, these are the things that could happen. If you take all the things that they don't have to do with all the other drugs we take. So with that, they will have to tell you, okay, this could be a side effect. If you don't take it, this could happen. But the really great thing about it is that it allows for a civil penalty against the Alabama Department of Public Health if they try to come against a doctor for writing a prescription that they feel is best for their patient. So that is a really good bill. We also, yes, ma'am? What is what? It is SB 72. It doesn't have a name. SB. So just so you guys know, SB stands for Senate bill. HB stands for House bill. And that tells you where that bill originated. And then it all has a number in it. And if you want to look it up online, you can look it up online. I don't know if we'll have time to get things posted, but I'll do my best to see if we can get that taken care of so you can read it yourself. We do have a legislative survey. We need all of you to fill it out if you have not. You want your voices heard, but then you don't participate in surveys. We have a list of questions on our website. There's a legislative survey. You go take that legislative survey. You tell us the things that are important to you. If we get enough response, then we can have it printed and bound and delivered to our legislators. But if you don't respond and you don't share it with your friends and family, we don't have enough to show that we make an impact. So please go to our website and take that legislative survey. Another reminder is that we do have a candidate survey there. If you know someone that is running for office, we have a candidate survey. We ask them the questions that are important to us and most of our members. That puts them on record for where they stand. Now, we do use that in our endorsements. We will be voting for some of our endorsements for the March 5th today. But they have to participate in that. And even if we've already made an endorsement or it's one that's upcoming, please be sure and share that, because that gives you valuable insight. And then we can say, hey, this is what you said. Many of them won't go on record because they don't want to say where they stand. The next thing is, how many of you have been fighting for freedom for over 10 years? Raise your hand. Okay, got some veterans here. How many of you just started since COVID? Okay, at least we're in the fight, right? That's all that matters. But how many of you are old school Alabama, and when you were growing up, or your parents were Democrats? Mine were. The old Republican Party was the Democrats, and they switched. For example, I know you guys get tired of me hearing about my arch nemesis, Nathaniel Ledbetter. But he ran in 2010 as a Democrat. Lowell Barron, who was a famous senator, known for punching someone on the Senate floor, was his mentor. I have proof. If anybody would like to see the pictures, please see me. And then, so in 2010, he ran as a Democrat. He got nowhere. 2014, he was chosen to run as a Republican because he would follow the rules. He would do what he was told to do. And he is now our current Speaker of the House. We've wasted the first 2 weeks of legislative session on gambling bills. I've been told that there is absolutely nothing we can do to stop that. Doesn't stop us from calling our senators and letting them know, do not pass it through. But I have been told repetitively that it is going through no matter what. So I want you guys to pay close attention to that. It will go for a vote. If it passes through, it will go for the people to vote. What we're going to be challenged with is the difference between having a lottery and 10 different casinos across the state of Alabama. In other states where that has happened, the property values have gone down. Other crimes and petty crimes and the poverty rate have also dropped. Poverty rates have risen, sorry. Thank you. I've got operating on about 15 hours all week. So, getting back to the Republicans and the Democrats. How many of you attended did any of you attend the Republican Executive Committee this week? With that, did you guys get some good resolutions passed? And I want you to, this is more homework for you. I'm not going to tell you the answer. A good teacher lets you find the answer for yourself, right? So of all the resolutions, we had one for election integrity that was supposed to be supported. It didn't get through. But yet John Wall and the other Republicans sit there and say, oh, they want election integrity. If you'll go back and you'll do your research for resolutions that have been written through the Republican committee the past few years, past 20 years actually, go back and look at the resolutions. Then go back and look and see how much difference any single. Were they doing those things? Say, let us eat cake? Or were they actually doing something about it? I can't find a record where we actually do about it. All right, so that was my questions for today. Now, I want you guys to be sure, get involved. If you haven't put your name, address, not your name, your telephone number, and your email, see Kathy. Kathy? Okay. We're just updating that. We're not going to harass you. We're not going to do those things. We'll add you to our email list. We're trying to update those things. But I want to be sure and thank the people who are here today. Guys, we know how our food security is so important. We know how toilet paper was short. We know we need to support our farmers. We want to support farmers who do not put mRNA vaccine or use pesticides. Or if you don't want the COVID vaccine, why are you going to eat something that has an mRNA vaccine in it? So be sure, go around, support your local farmer, know your food. As someone who owns a clinic, I cannot tell you how important your food is. Just changing your diet and what you put in your body What you've put in is what comes out. Feed your cells. If you want healthy cells, feed them healthy. That also goes for your supplements. If you're taking supplements from Costco and Kirkland's and wherever else, throw the things in the garbage. If you don't want to support China, turn those things around. If you're taking a vitamin C and it says citric acid, but it doesn't tell you where that vitamin C is sourced from, throw it in the trash. If they will not tell you the source, then it come from scraping barrels out of China that have been sitting there because that's citric acid. Pay close attention to what your labels say on your food and your supplements. With that being said, we're going to give each farm or organization that's here today an opportunity to come up and tell you about them. Please be sure there will be a question and answer session where we'll bring them all up at the end. But they also have some goods over here. So be sure and support them. Ask the questions. Remember, cash is king. So if you pay with cash, not only do they keep all of it, but it keeps the credit cards and all those places from getting their share. So with that being said, we're going to start with Bare Bottom Farms.
That was me. Hi, everybody. I am Amber Keenan. I'm with Bare Bottom Farms. I'm a bit nervous. I'm not going to lie. It's the first time I have spoken in public, this kind of scale. No time I'm talking only veteran members. Sorry. Other veteran members or quite close, okay. Other veteran members or people within the Coleman County Extension offices regarding starting a farm and what that looks like. After 21 years, my husband served in the Army. We have traveled all over the United States, and we have conducted, we've had our own hobby farms in different areas. So when Rebecca was talking about when did you start fighting for that, we probably started about 14 years ago. When we decided to homeschool our children, and it took me down a completely different path. That path gave us eye-opening opportunities, which I engaged in. Where I come from now is that we are new. We're a new farmer. We have invested all of our retirement and our current lives into where we are today. And one thing I can tell you from that is we need support. Our farms need support. Why? Because you saw what housing prices were. We're not buying land that cost $1,000 an acre anymore. Okay. Then the flip of that side of it is I'm also new. So I'm over here fangirling off of all of these farms that I am looking up to, like Ernest Roots Farms and Swimming Buck Farms. I've been following them since we have started. So what we have come to the conclusion for is that we need to be focusing on our community farms, and in general, just right here in your backyard, you can find those goods that are available for you. And sorry, kind of lost my train of thought there for a minute, but they're good for you, and you're offering that support that we need. So again, after 21 years, we have started up our farm. We currently sell raw milk in the state of Alabama. It is under pet consumption for you guys. That being said, I am completely okay with telling you that we consume our own milk on our own farm. And that all came from because I wanted to make butter. Again, another path that came down. So I know that these other farmers are going to talk to you guys about some other kind of sustainable farming practices, but what I wanted to focus on are the people who don't know where to start, because I have been there. And that my encouragement for those people is pick the dirt and drop a seed. You reach out to a farmer, ask the question, talk to them, get to know their practice, make it a community-based mindset instead of a convenient mindset, which is what most stores are offering. And be encouraging. You guys have any other questions? Feel free to ask.
We'll bring up, just as a reminder for those who aren't, We will be bringing everyone up for questions at the end. And then we want to encourage you to go, visit, ask all the questions you want, buy a product, make a farm tour, go support these people. Guys, I would love to have a farm, but I can't have, Paul's afraid I'm going to be bringing home cows and chickens already, so I can't do that. Especially if I'm never home. But anyway, so next we will have Feed the Earth Farm.
It's great to see so many folks interested in local food, healthy food options. A little closer, okay. So I'm Terry Bolin. This is my wife, Angela. We own Feed the Earth Farms in Tony, Alabama, just up Highway 53. And anyway, so tell you what we do to really explain it. We have to go back in time. A little over 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, gastrointestinal disease, and I didn't have great insurance at the time. Jobs. I was in college, and I had to have emergency surgery. I went from not thinking anything, waking up from having intestines reconnected and all that. So I was in a state of denial for a couple years. Fast forward till grad school, I met my wife, and right after we got married, I was having symptoms again. Being the Christian couple had found this gastroenterologist, also incorporated holistic. So we drove to Alabama, and we saw Dr. Joseph Brasco, a world-renowned eye doctor. He's still practicing. We have some materials at our table you can look at where he's written a book. Patients who was talking about. Dr. Brasco told me, he's had patients come to see him. He said, for my age, I had the worst case of Crohn's I've seen. I was and so he threw the book at me with prescriptions because we had to get the information under. Said we need to find good. And he turned to my wife and said, "We need to make broth, bone broth, stock, good stock. That's what really gets easily absorbed into your gut, into your body, and brings that nutrition where." He said, "Make chicken stock, make bone broth, and if possible, find a farmer and get directly from the store." So fast forward a couple of years, we moved to Maryland. I took a job with the government, and we're in the Baltimore D.C. corridor, so there's not a lot of farms there. My wife gets on the internet and found this farm in Virginia, Polyface Farms. They're one of the thought leaders in the area. Yep. Joel Salatin. Yeah, so he had some food drops in Laurel, Maryland, which was far from us. Once again, I was kind of the stick in the mud, and she's the one doing research, and she says, this is really quality food, and it's close by. It cost a lot more than was in the grocery store, and I kind of pushed. Once we started eating that chicken, like once a week, I did start to feel better, and it was gradual, and I didn't notice it at first, but when we ran out, Angela went to the store and bought a chicken. I was like, this tastes hard. So warning, once you go good, healthy, quality food, you're not going to want to go back. It's really tasty as well as nutritious. So fast forward, we moved to Alabama about 6 years ago. Blessed to find a farm that we bought. It was 4 boys and 1 girl later. So we found the farm, which was great for our ability to raise our own food, to share with others, and to keep the boys outdoors. Subsequently had another. We have 6 children now, and we have a third of them with us, so the rest are at home, school, and farm chores. But so today we have 56 acres. We raise pastured chickens, seasonally raised turkey. So those, I'll get to that in a minute. Turkey, we have goats. We raise chickens for eggs, although we're out right now because we had some predator issues over winter. Raise mushrooms, and we have hopes of expanding into other areas. Struggling on that front too. We're doing a lot, but one thing I wanted to mention here in this group, because I think there's a lot of folks thinking outside the box and that are here to find whatever way possible to take care of yourself and your family. There's a lot of red tape with FOA. So I'm not sure to what degree you all are aware of this. There's so many restrictions on connecting with good. For instance, I can sell chicken that we processed on our farm as long as I don't sell, 20,000, which I have a problem there. But we mill our own wheat and make our own bread. Technically, I can't sell you a loaf of bread. We make chicken stock, and I know a lot of folks don't have, well, they think they don't have the time to do all the steps, and maybe right now they don't, to buy a whole chicken from us to make their own stock. But for me to put that in a jar and sell it to you, that's illegal because we don't have a certified commercial kitchen. So one of the things we're looking at, and Joel Salatin heard about this through him as well, and there's others in the movement, is the rogue food movement. And as part of that, we're looking at, and if you're interested, please come talk to us and sign up. We're looking at starting what's called a food church. Now, it's not really a spiritual thing as much as it is a way around the red. So we will have a spiritual statement there. We believe closer to God by taking care of our bodies and putting good food. But what that does is that allows us the freedom of religion to be able to then say, you want to buy stock, you want to buy cooked chicken, you want to buy a goat roast or a individual piece of beef without having to buy a whole share. Those are options. So that's one of the things we're considering, and we want to partner with other farms too. This is not competition the way I see it. We're all working together. There's so many people out here that need good quality food. So we need a lot more farmers than are here. So we can band together, help each other. And I'm in the process of building a big shop, and the front of that's going to be our storefront. So I look forward, maybe once we get the food church established, able to offer other farmers wares there as well. Yeah,
speak to the budget, because I was raised mindset of being debt free other than Dave Ramsey and that was a real challenge for us in our early marriage to be buying this quality. We love children.
So in Maryland, I was a GS9 and we were just my salary, and she was buying the chickens.
Yeah, Maryland, one of the most expensive parts of the country, and it was during the 2008 economic challenge, and we managed to not go into debt, but I did have to carefully plan out my grocery list. One thing that and that is one reason that we did not prioritize the pastured meats, because I had $2 something. I mean, I just very carefully did it, but I have recently priced out boneless breast and chicken broth at Walmart. And if you were to buy a whole chicken from Walmart and make broth with it, that would be cheaper than buying a pastured chicken. Well, no. If you were to make a comparison with a whole chicken from Walmart and a whole chicken from a farm, the Walmart chicken would be cheaper. Most people buy boneless breast and boxed chicken broth. So if in fact that is how you cook, you're paying the same, but you're getting less nutrition. That was an epiphany to me to discover that, and it was reassuring that it is that we actually are providing a quality product as well as price. It is be a customer. I will say that.
Yeah, so over the past 5 years, I'm closing here. So over the past 5 years, we put tens of thousands of dollars into our fencing, all infrastructure, water lines, chicken tractors, and everything. So we did that because we believe in it. And if this is something you're interested in, stop by and talk to us. Love to get your contact info and let you know what we're offering and how we're changing. And just this year, new to help us plan better, trying to offer a subscription basis website, or you can talk to us about it. You know about how many chickens you want per month. That helps us plan. Do a few sessions. We've already scheduled 2. We can put another one on the calendar if the demand is there. If you want chicken and you want to have it in November, December, January, we have some now that we've kept frozen from last fall's processing. We have 7 freezers. We can do that, but we don't want to just have a ton of inventory. We know what your needs are. We can help accommodate that. Can't find something along these same lines that you're interested in, let us know. that
Feed the Earth Farms. So I also would like to kind of segue off what they said. The cost of your food, what's your health worth? You know, think about you've been sick, you spend this time, you're out of work, you do all these things. I can speak personally from our family. My son was vaccine injured. He had an autoimmune disease that doctors said would never heal. Change your diet, change your life. You know, and you may, so what if you spend the same thing? You go to Walmart, which you shouldn't be shopping there anyway, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to give you suggestions. And then you think about it. You go buy that chicken and you go buy that pasteurized broth. That broth that you're purchasing has 0 nutrients. It's been pasteurized. You've leached every single thing out of it. So although it's better than some alternatives, you're not getting the desired effects. So our next farm is close to my neck of the woods, and we have Swim Buck Farms.
I was told by my daughter not to let the crazy out. I'm sure y'all have probably been down every rabbit hole there is. So anyway, I don't even know how far back I have to go here, but I kind of thought we would be where we are now 15 years ago. So that's when we bought our farm in Horton, which we're not far from. It's in Marshall County. And we bought that property, and we kept expanding. And I left a very successful art career to start this because I saw what was going on with the food. I've raised my daughter over there on organic. We're about 3 kids on organic food. I haven't had a microwave in probably 30 years. Okay, that kills everything in your body, or everything that you're putting in that microwave. You're getting nothing out of that. Okay. So without me going down every rabbit hole I know, I'll just tell you about my farm. So I'm a no-till farm. We have right underneath 30 acres. We just bought another little section to build a little store on at the front of the property, just because I don't want like random people coming up on my property. So we're on the back side. I've got sheep. I've got extra cattle. We dug a well where we've got like I think 6 springs on our farm. I'm right up the road from Blue Springs water. If you know Blue Springs water, okay, yeah, the filtered, the pure, really beautiful water. Well, that's the same water I got on my farm, but it bubbles up. It just doesn't have that. I got to dig deep to get that Hawaii look, you know. Anyway, so that's what I water with. I don't do any city water. I'm very anal. I use all natural clothes, detergent, everything, right? Nothing goes into my soil. So I did a no-till, which took me, let's see, this is my 3rd or 4th year into this. My son had a brain injury last year, so it kind of wiped me out from the entire year of farming, pretty much. But I have healed my kids on natural medicine. My oldest one is 21 years old. Okay? I'm talking a horrendous staph infection, a brain injury. He should have died. The neuro told me he should have died. Okay? I can't even tell you what all. A hole in my daughter's face, clear. I could put my finger through her, all the way through her face from a dog bite. No antibiotics other than natural antibiotics. God's medicine is under your feet, right? So that's where the medicine's at. So I specifically grow herbs for healing herbs, these microgreens. I do have cattle, but they go quick. I can't feed all y'all. Okay, so go to that guy for cattle. Okay, but I can fill you up with lettuces, really good mustards, microgreens. What else was I doing? Well, and of course medicinal herbs. A lot of that's in bulk, right? So I have devoted 2 big greenhouses of no-till, and I do grow in mushroom compost. Okay, so that's great because you're getting the plant when it grows down in there, it's pulling the nutrients from the soil. Okay, you're not getting. A lot of people grow microgreens on coconut coir. That is not organic. That's not organic. And what is it doing? It's just sprouting the seed, right? What is giving it nutrition? Okay, nothing. You got to get it from the ground. You got to get it drawn up from the nutrients. I've got I don't know, several customers that come out every week, and a lot of them are cancer patients. A lot of them are, they've had cancer, they're getting better. I had one girl, actually, this is a good thing. Had one girl came out, she had a bunch of like calcium deposits all over her face. She started eating our microgreens in my salads. The first week, she came out to buy her next batch, and she said, my calcium deposits are gone off her face within a week, or less than a week. I mean, I can't tell you how. I mean, I've got stories. I could be up here for 10 hours, but natural medicine works, okay? So y'all don't ever doubt it. That's all I'm telling you. And that is, I literally left a very successful art career, okay, to make like what, $10 a week in the beginning. So I just keep plugging along, and I've had so much success from people that I can't sit here and tell you. From once they started eating our food, they're like, their gut health's better, their numbers from their conventional doctors are better, their numbers. I had a girl that had liver issues, their numbers are so much better from just eating the food. So all I know is we're the cleanest farm you can ever think of. I'm very, very, I only let my kids wear shoes in the house. I'm really weird. But I don't know. If you start reading your labels, say take Old El Paso, go do a test today. Go to Publix, grab Old El Paso taco sauce, taco seasoning. Read the back. Bioengineered ingredients. That's what it says. Go to the Publix bakery. I swear to you, you go get a cake, it's going to say bioengineered ingredients. Okay? So this is all, this is down Rebecca's Avenue. It works on your body. It destroys your hormones. It destroys everything. And that's where cancer comes from. It ain't coming from, of course, the skies too, I guess. But like I said, she said don't let the crazy out. So I'm not doing that. I'm trying not to do that. But I'm telling you, I'm sure y'all if you're here, you've been down the rabbit holes I'm talking about, okay? And I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to leave you with one little thing that'll make your arm hair stand up, okay? So my husband, who is a vet, unfortunately, he does not help me grow. He does architecture. He's got a full-time job. But he does help my fencing when I have fencing repairs or I don't have time to feed the dogs. He'll do that. He is a vet, so we're veteran-owned. Okay, he works in Atlanta. Or is this being recorded? Yeah, okay. Then you get with me afterwards. I'm not doing this on video because this is very deep, and I can tell you something that will literally your arm hairs will stand up. And there is a cure for a very high-level disease right now, and you know what I'm talking about. And if you go watch the video, Pandemic, with Judy Mokovitz, she references this man who we personally know. And I can go the rest of the story later, okay? But anyway, we try to keep our prices equal with, like, I would say a little bit under Publix green-wise. I can't be, like Dollar General or whatever prices, I'm sorry. But people have to understand they treat their cars better than their body. They don't go to the gas station and put regular gas in. They don't. They're treating their vehicles more than they're putting in their body. And really, if you just treat it right in the beginning, you don't have all these extra bills in the end. So, I'm out. Thank you.
And just for the record, if you get cilantro, that's what I was about to. I'm segueing there, So, it's close to Albertville. Okay. So cilantro microgreens. Have any of you had them? Oh, they're really good. Make you some salsa, put some cilantro microgreens in there, but let me tell you what cilantro does. It's an antifungal. It's an antibacterial. It's going to help with nausea. It's going to help with so many different things that ail your body just by eating the food that you can get from there. So that's just a little side note. And next we have Ernest Roots Farms. Oh, there you are.
So I'm Josh. Closer. Up higher.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. So I'm Josh, along with my wife Kylie and our sons Augustus and Atticus. We operate Ernest Roots Farm in Asheville, Alabama. We're a farm-to-direct consumer meat operation. We're a multi-generation, multi-species farm. We focus on producing food with quality in mind, not quantity. Simply put, we want clean food for our family and our consumers, our customers. We currently offer to the public grass-fed beef, grass-fed lamb, pasture pork, pasture poultry, what did I say? Raw honey, dehydrated raw dog treats, and beeswax candles. We deliver those products locally within our area, and we're members of the Alabama Farm Co-op. They're here today. And then we also have recently launched statewide shipping. We're able to reach every doorstep in Alabama. We've been working towards that for a while now, and we achieved it this year, so looking forward to see how that grows. I'm a little bit nervous. Yeah. So, where was I going? Products. So we got a lot of products. We're an e-commerce website, so you can go on our website and see everything we offer, and you can come out to the farm, and welcome out to the farm. So we don't put a lot of hype on food labels. We don't trust them. They're misleading. We like to show people what we do. Transparency is our food label. So we're heavily involved in social media. Got Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We really like to show people what we do and how we do it. We're also learning ourselves. Been at it for 7 or 8 years now as a farm business. And we are members of the Pasture Poultry Producers Association. Anybody ever heard of that? I know Keith here has. We're really involved in that, and pretty much what I'm about to say, all of our practices pretty much is the same throughout our entire operation. Pasture Poultry Producers is a group of farmers that is in the United States, all across this country, and they strive to produce birds in one way: on pasture, in motion, in portable housing and infrastructure, similar to what's on my shirt. The quality of the bird is so much superior than that of its counterpart. The birds have a higher nutritional value. The texture, the taste is far superior. And I highly recommend, if you're not a member of APA and you have chickens, or if you're wanting, you don't even have to have chickens to be a member of APA. You can be 0 birds all the way up to a homesteader to 100,000 plus. I highly encourage you to get involved in APA simply because of who's involved in it. The people within the organization make it what it is. Everybody there, no matter what stage of the journey you're on, they want to see you improve and help you. It's no competition within the group. So we wouldn't be where we are today without APA. So if you want to talk more about that, you can send me over there. And I think that's about it. Ernest Roots Farm. So Asheville, Alabama. Yes. Yeah. So we ship dry products and frozen products anywhere within the state. We use biodegradable, eco-friendly packaging. It's something we're kind of wanting to do with this. And we're currently only in Alabama right now because we just started like 2 months ago. So we're still learning it. But it's been a lot of time. We spent several years, since 2020, we've been trying to achieve this goal. And we just finally launched it. So we've sent a few boxes out last week. And they went to a couple places in Alabama. So looking forward to seeing how that grows. And this is not how I plan this speech to go. I'm really nervous. Thank you.
If we stay on our course, we could look at a worldwide catastrophe. Industrial agriculture is first and foremost a war against the earth because it is a war against all species, since you're bringing war chemicals into food production and all they're doing is killing.
We cannot fight nature. You cannot poison things to the extent that where you, quote, win.
It's a challenge to live in a world where our government cannot be counted on to defend us from an industrial food system that's actually making us sick.
Hopefully soon the planet will change. People should really learn about how to help your community and help yourself in life.
You can grow 100% organic, nutrient-dense food at warp speed, basically. This stuff will grow anything. There is a secret here that we've got to unlock.
What we've tried to do here is accelerate the regeneration of soil.
Well, I've done some testing behind your back. Okay, so you're doing in 4 to 5 days what nature would take
In about 400 years.
400 years. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Disrupting food, fuel, and fertilizer all in one little powerhouse. You're going to have a lot of pushback. I worry about it getting squashed before it gets out.
Yeah. You don't get points for doing the right thing, and that's the right thing. You just have to do it.
We're trying to change Girl Scout cookies so they're healthier. Right now we have at least 45,000 signatures.
Last minute they decided that the representative was going to be in a meeting. They hung up on me.
You never know what could be happening there.
They're just called free share.
They're just not listening.
We just heard a rumor that we might lose our farm.
4:30 a.m., telephone rings. I knew it could not be good news.
Looking at the amount of heat that needed to be generated, I'm a little suspicious.
To say that we care about the future of this planet, to say that we care about the survival of our species, and to not take action is simply no longer an option.
Hopefully, we'll recover from this.
Basically, he was showing a way to restore the soil in a shorter version of time. So our soil has been raped. We can't get the minerals we need from our farms. So we've raped our land, and we haven't done anything to replenish it with anything except for poison. So with this, it is called The Need to Grow. It is a documentary, and I know there's 1,000 of documentaries in different places, but this gentleman had a revolutionary new way to help restore the soil. Ironically, it randomly burned, and all the technology was destroyed. So this is a really good place for you to start. Can we go back to the farm name? But that's a good one for you to see, The Need to Grow. Next we have needtogrow.com. He had a technology he was doing on his farm, because as your soil is depleted of all, so our water gets its minerals that our body needs from the soil and from the rocks that it flows over. That naturally structures our water. So all the things that your body needs structured water in order for your cells to be able to absorb it. Many of us drink reversed osmosis, or we use distilled water. Well, where are your minerals coming from? If your water, the way God designed it, does not have minerals in it, then you're not receiving the minerals. So then you drink reversed osmosis, or you drink filtered water, or distilled water, and guess what? You become the rock. Because as you drink that water that has no minerals in it, it was naturally designed to pick up the minerals along the way. Now you're depleting your already depleted source, your body, from those minerals. So you've got to add it with your food. You've got to add it with taking adequate minerals. You're not getting it at all in conventional food. And if you're doing things to promote your body with water, by doing reverse osmosis or distilled, you're getting no minerals there. Yeah, you have to be able to get your minerals. You have to replenish it with the minerals in order to be able to get that. Yes, Gary. Absolutely. And one thing, how many of you? Yes, absolutely. So, how many of you may be drinking? And I can think of one person, but I'm not going to point her out. So, that would be a HIPAA violation. So, think about it. If you drink plenty of water, I don't drink enough water. But if you drink enough water and you're still constantly dehydrated, why might that be? Lack of minerals. So, how do you get your cells to absorb the water you do drink? Take that Celtic sea salt, take 1 grain, put it on your tongue, and it goes, hello, hello, signal to the cells, incoming water, absorb this. So that's a good way for you to make sure that you wake up your cells and they absorb the nutrients that you do. Next farm is Southern Farms.
Hey, welcome everyone. I'm Keith Southard, right here in Madison, Alabama, with Southard Farms. We're located on Huntsville-Browns Ferry Road, just a few miles west of County Line Road. And we raise 4 different crops: cotton, wheat, soybeans, alfalfa, as well as pasture-raised hogs and broiler chickens, and also laying hens. So yeah, we started on the we've always farmed for a long time now. We started doing I studied about Joel Salatin, about 5 years ago, and started trying to find out ways to keep, our family farm going, because as you can see, so many are disappearing. And, once I started reading that, found out, hey, not only is this another way, but it's also provides, healthy, nutritious food for direct to people. So got me interested, and 5 years ago we started, raising the animals, and I could see immediately that, the animals look healthy. They don't need a lot of medication. We move them around, and yeah, it's just worked great since then. You can taste the difference in the food. It's more nutritious for you. There's studies out there to prove that. And as far as our farm goes, we've got ways to buy our products. We've got an online store through southernfarm.com, and you can pick it up at the farm 6 days a week, Monday through Friday, and then Sunday after you order, or we deliver on Mondays every week. And also we sell to several restaurants locally, including Farm Burger and Domain South. So you support them, you support farmers directly. And S&J Produce in Madison, they provide our products off of Highway 72. And also we set up at Isom's Orchard on Saturday mornings in the summer through fall time frame. So yeah, look forward to meeting you. I'll be over here with the rest of our farmer friends, and yeah, if you want to show our video, yeah, I've got a video on YouTube on my channel that I can show you. Kind of gives you a good idea of what all we do. Thank you. alfalfa hay. Yeah. We also make our own feed. So our 4 main ingredients, 2 of them we grow on the farm, and those ingredients are corn, wheat, soy meal, and alfalfa hay. The corn I get from a neighbor, it is GMO. All the other ingredients are non-GMO. So the cotton is sold to a broker, and then the broker finds the end buyer. About 70% of the cotton is exported now, since NAFTA was in place and shut down all the cotton mills in the U.S. So it goes through a middle person basically before they find the end user. It's all aggregated and shipped on large ships. That's the great thing about the products we raise here, that goes from directly from our farm to you, all the meat and eggs. And I will throw a shout out. There's one neighbor farm here, Redland Cotton. They take their farm directly from the farm and produce a product all made in the U.S. So we have several of their products in our home, and you can look them up as well. So
Okay, next we have Alchemy Farms and Plants. Did I say that right? Okay, all right. He's coming to speak to us about that. Then next we will have Alabama Farm Co-op, and we will round it up with Weston A. Price Foundation here in Huntsville. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. If you can hear me, my name is Robert McClintock. I am with Alchemy Farms and Plants. I've just been told to come out here and help to represent us, so it's kind of a little last minute. I haven't prepared any particular speech, but Alchemy Farms and Plants, we are located just in Owens Crossroads, across from the Hampton Cove Middle School, off of Highway 431. So if you ever want to come check us out. Our whole mission is to align ourselves as a corporation with intelligent, free-thinking artists, farmers, and educators to kind of provide like community STEAM related events. So a lot of our focus is actually helping all age groups, just basically to kind of teach them more into the agriculture field, which is more of our niche. We currently have a program going on with the 4-H kids. Actually, every month we're meeting up with these kids from like 9 to about 17 and some adults, and teaching them about beekeeping, because that's a pretty big thing a lot of people get into. We've been around since 2012. When we started off as a farm, we were just a small little 2-acre farm with a little building and a little hydroponic system and a greenhouse. Since then, we have started practicing more organically certifications. I really don't have too much to say, but if you're interested in learning more, we have a website at www.artisanscove.com. And we also have a Facebook page, Artisans Cove Market, Alchemy Farms. These are all little subsidiaries. So, thank you very much for having me out here, and thank you, Ed, for inviting us out here too. Call you out on the stage here.
Hello, is this close enough? I am Melissa Horton with Alabama Farm Co-op, and I brought some notes so that I don't go past my 10-minute mark here. I am a homeschool mom. We have 3 teenagers. We started homeschooling when they were little bitties, so they have never gone into the public or private school system. Oh, thank you. And good job to all of you else who are homeschooled. I know that there's homeschool families all over our state. I also head up the grassroots movement called Alabama Homeschool Alliance. You might see our team, especially now with the Choose Act on the table. We have been very vocal and active in participating in conversations with not just HSLDA, we're informing how we want to go with that, but we do have reasons to oppose that as well. So just thought I'd throw that out there. If you're looking for some homeschool support, we're there for you. We just know you can do it. And so that's a little extra plug. But in the central Alabama area, I am known as either the milk lady or the co-op lady because over the past 6.5 out of the last 7 years, I worked with one local dairy farm down in the Gadsden area to bring their products to their customers and to help get the word out. And so I was the voice of marketing, if you will, informally, because they really were just friends. I met them when David and his wife Tina moved to Alabama from Georgia. They had 2 of their 4 kids at the time. Unknowingly, they were expecting twins when I met them. And so, of course, later they had their other 2. Fast friendship and a really, really great system grew. Tina said, what do you think about helping us get these products to the rest of our customers? And I said, well, I'm going to come once every 2 weeks. I'm happy to take back whatever I can to anybody else. That turned into a full-on business that we didn't know would grow from a $150 order to over $3,000 weekly orders with them with the first co-op, and then we created a second one to take the products to their Georgia customers after the rest of their family moved from that state to Alabama. So it's been my joy to see a farm grow, but I always wondered in all of those years, what about the others? Because I bet in this room, well, goodness, there might be 100 farms represented in this room, and my thoughts were always on all of you. How do we help your products get to the customers that would want your products too? Because one farm can't feed everyone. And so my husband and I talked about maybe we should start a farm, and we should. I think everybody in this room ought to grow something or raise something. Tomatoes, or we did pigs. I know we were crazy. We chose to raise pigs, and they got out of that fence every day. But we did it. They were delicious. But my husband said, maybe we weren't meant to be big farmers. Maybe we were meant to take what we learned working with that one farm and to turn it into something that could help the others. And that's what we've done. So when my time ended with that farm, sadly, David's wife, Tina, passed away 2 years ago. And when Tina passed away, a lot of their family moved in to help them on the farm. They didn't need the outsider. I lived about 2 hours from their farm, so I was driving to their farm twice a week, which was complete and total joy. I loved serving that farm and serving their customers. But we sort of fell into this niche, this milk lady title that I still carry around. I don't have a t-shirt, but people still call me that. Oh, you're the milk lady. And I say, yes, I sure am. But we're in that first industry that was ever created, food. See, God created this garden and he put this man in it to tend it and keep it. And so we're in the first and the really longest lasting industry, the one that will go on when we're out of toilet paper, the one that'll go on when we don't have technology. We will still all want to eat. I think that's probably true. So food security comes in the form of farms like you. And even though I have my little garden and my few chickens, and the pigs, again, were delicious, it takes all the farms to feed all the people. And so we don't believe there's one farm that can do it. It takes all of you. But I had a young farmer, I won't point him out because he's in the room, but he's right over there. He once said something, if I remember the numbers correctly, he said to me when I met him first on, that to sell a product from his farm, it takes 20% farming and 80% marketing. Now, if those numbers are not correct, he's not going to tell you later, but I will tell you that that's got to be true. And so, but we also know that 20% is really 100%. It's a full-time job. If you're a farmer and that's a full-time job, will you just do this? Just so I know I'm only got a little validation right over there. So it takes, out of that 100%, if he's doing 100% farming, that means it takes 400% marketing to get those products sold. So that's where we kind of come in, and not to steal from the name that's in all the news, but Taylor Swift has a song. I'm just going to say, farmers got to farm, right? And so it's my joy to be out there talking about farms and telling people what the farmers are doing and telling them about how clean this farm is and how great that product is, and about even their faith and their family and just what they love to do, their passions. And that's how I got started with my first farm co-op. And the reason we call it a co-op is simply because we are cooperating with both farms and consumers to get the products from farm to the people. Because I will tell you, the people want desperately to support local farms. They they just have a hard time getting there, be it work schedule or the time it takes to come to you. Because, you know, many of you, there's suburbs and cities, and then there's farms, and you're way out here. And I know because I drove 2-hour drives to one farm for 6.5 years, twice a week, to pick up food for people that desperately wanted it from that one farm. So we want to come to you. So we call it a co-op because we're working together. We also, though, focus with Alabama Farm Co-op. It is my personal belief that if you deliver a product to a doorstep, that you do not have a customer, you just had a sale. So it's our personal focus is to have a face-to-face conversation. When somebody walks up, I can say, "Ooh, nice new tires on your truck there, you know, Bob." And he's like, "Yeah, I just got them." And I said, "But how's your mom doing, Sam? Is she out of the hospital this week?" And he's like, "Yeah, she's doing better. Thanks for asking." And we've got a customer face-to-face contact that brings retention, but it's not just for us. It's because we want to tell them about you, the farmer. We want to say, "Oh, I see you got something from," or I'm gonna call him out. You got some chicken from Ernest Roots. Oh my goodness, have you been to their farm yet? And they say, "Oh no, I haven't." No, you really, at least one time you've got to go visit the farm. You need to go meet your farmer. We want you to go meet him. Go meet him and his family and his boys, and see their farm and see where your food comes from, because that is so important. And you'll see over there on my table around the corner this collective mission of know your farmer, know your food. We also sort of shortened it, no farms, no food. It is the only guarantee is that if farmers don't keep farming, we do not get to eat. And so we want to help you in whatever way we can. So what we've done is we've created a system. I took the same process that I worked with one farm, but now my idea started with, I want an Etsy shop for farmers. And so we are about to roll out a new website where customers can order directly from the farm or vendor of their choice. It goes through our platform, but what we do, if you put us in a pot full of water and you boil it all down, all we are is a delivery service. All we're doing is driving to the farm and bringing it to the customer and hopefully representing you, the farmer, well to your people. And we want to talk about you well, and we want to bring the products in a safe, contained way well, because we want to support you. We want to see your farms grow from 2 to 32 cows, or from $150 to $3,000 weekly orders. And it's just a joy. So we aim to bring our system to every city. Right now we're in the Birmingham Metro. I think we have 10 or 12 current drop points, and that includes going into Montgomery and over to Auburn. We are about to be large enough that we need to branch them off, because our goal is not to pick the 12 largest farms and to bring all of those across the state. We want to connect regionally, because that is the only way that there's real security in food. If we bring you food from Birmingham and you live in Madison and something happens, we can't get it to you. So we want to connect people in this area to farms in this area. Same thing with Tuscaloosa. Mobile's calling us. We've got Montgomery ready to branch off from Birmingham, and to create this network. And I imagine over time it's going to even get smaller and smaller, where you're going to find community farms serving community people, just like it used to be and just like it should be. So we hope that if you're a farm, at minimum, check out our website, alabamafarmcoop.com. You'll find a lot of info about how it got started, the long story with me and Tina from the original farm, and how that started. I remember when I told my husband, I want to start a new co-op one day with lots of farms. This was 5 years ago. We just started this in November. 5 years ago, I said, I want to start a new one. And when Tina passed away, I said, I want to call it Tina. Well, that was going to be a little weird. So we thought maybe not, but I came up with an acronym: transportation and infrastructure needed in agriculture. And all the farmers generally said amen to that, because there's a need. That was Tina, T-I-N-A, transportation infrastructure needed in agriculture. And that's sort of a behind the scenes inspiration to what we've created, which is Horton Logistics LLC, that does business as Alabama Farm Co-op. And we hope that we can bring our system to this area and beyond, and serve many more farmers by doing our passion, which you'll see on our website. Our passion is simply this: to bring more local customers to the local farms by bringing the farm's products to the customers. So we're happy to help. We'd love to meet you if you're here. We're going to be around the corner, and just look for the green splotch. You'll find me over there. But thank you so much for having me.
All right, well, I know we're at the tail end of this, so thanks everyone for your patience. But Paul and I are co-leaders of the local Weston A. Price chapter. Who knows what Weston A. Price is? Okay, a few hands. That's great. So the interesting name comes from a dentist, an Ohio dentist, who lived in the 1930s and observed the deterioration of health in his patients. So he went in search of health, around the world and studied indigenous cultures and found that cultures that were eating true to their ancestral traditions, eating the way their grandmothers were eating in the 1930s, were the healthiest. And you could see it in the faces, broad faces, great bone structure, beautiful teeth, didn't need braces. So he went in search of what created that, and it was the food, and it was valuing the way that you fed children, nursing mothers, and food throughout generations. So this organization is dedicated to teaching all of us how to do that in this day and age, and connecting local chapters with your local farmers so that you can go to Weston A. Price and find, a bank of literature that doesn't tell you what not to eat, but tells you how to take real food and prepare it in traditional medicinal ways. And local chapters like us have meetings all over our region to get you in touch with local farmers, let them tell you what's going on, teach you what's great, help you to grow your own stuff as you like. And there's some really great perks as well. There's an annual conference, which I love. I look forward to it every year, the Wise Traditions Conference. And I think that name is so key, Wise Traditions. Let's look back and cultivate that. What did I miss?
So I was just going to add that the chapter is a place where we try to connect. We try to connect people together. You do not have to be a member of the organization to come to the chapter meetings. We try to do farm tours, different teachings, lessons, things like that. Also wanted to add that part of our responsibility is to be chapter leaders. It's a volunteer role, but our main responsibility is to build a resource list. So what we try to do is vet out different farmers around the area and add them to our resource list. I could share with you that over within a month time, we probably get as many as a half a dozen to a dozen inquiries for people that are in the area wanting to make a change, wanting to find these sources for them. So for the farmers that are here, we'd love to make sure that we add you into the resource list and become a part of our directory. Also wanted to share with you that Weston Price is the one that started the realmilk.org website. They have been spearhead pioneers for getting raw milk available across the United States. As of the last conference, I think, if you can believe it, in not all 50 states are you allowed to sell raw milk. So they are working towards 50 states to be available. So that's still an effort, but if you're traveling and you need to get your raw milk, go to the website. It has a map where you can search out and find sources while you're traveling, and it's become a really great tool. But we'd love to talk more about you. We have some literature to pass out. And one last quote, Weston Price was considered the Isaac Newton of researchers in the work that he did. It's quite amazing. And not only did he find that the people's facial structures and teeth were perfect, he found that their overall health was perfect. They were happier. They loved their families. And I mean, as Rebecca mentioned how important food is, the Weston Price chapter has recognized his work and continues to educate. Final quote from Weston Price: "Life in its fullness is Mother Nature obeyed." So I think we could all probably agree with that. Thank you.
Big hand for everyone that participated today. I have a couple of questions before we bring our farms back up. So these are some things that you want to, for Weston A. Price, their annual, they have the Wise Traditions, and it happens in usually October of each year. This year it's going to be in Orlando. So if you want to participate in that, they also, how many of you use toothpaste? Okay. That's good to know. You probably really don't have to use that toothpaste. Did you know you really don't need fluoride? And did you know that the Weston A. Price Foundation, when he was talking, the people who had the healthiest oral health, they chewed on sticks and they ate a healthy diet. They consumed what was around them, and they didn't have cavities. So why do we have cavities now? We brush, we floss, we use fluoride, we drink fluoride water. See any things happening there? So anyway, we're going to bring, we meet the third Saturday of each month. So we have a March meeting coming up. How many of you would like to hear something about health? Like how you could improve your health? Things that you could do naturally goes along with that. In April, our April meeting, so it's April the 20th, we will have Catherine Austin Fitz will be here speaking that day. So you may need to bring a chair, bring a friend, bring lots of friends, according to Clay. He always corrects me on that when I say bring a friend. And then our May meeting, we may have, how many of you have heard of Sheriff Joe Arpaio? How many of you would like to hear firsthand from his sheriff deputy, Jerry Sheridan? He has agreed. I don't know if we're going to be able to make the May date, but I spoke to him many, many years ago. I ran for city council, lost against a good old boy, barely, and I was an outsider. I flew to Arizona because I wanted to know how to deal with illegal immigration. I wanted to see what a real sheriff does. So I flew out there, just cold called, said, "Hey, how you doing? I'd like to come see you." And they welcomed me in. I was about attacked in the jail. They flattened me to the ground because in booking, someone got out of hand. I got to see the first hand how many hundreds were held in a holding cell that came across the border illegally. That was a long time ago. I can't imagine what it is now. They are true sheriffs. Jerry Sheridan lost his last run for sheriff in Maricopa County. Exit polls showed that he won. But the election machines didn't. So he is running again. So now at this time, I'd like to bring our farmers up, let them come up. We'll ask them the questions. And then you guys need to go over, visit with them, buy some things. Cash is king, and we'll round up for the day. Thank you, guys. You can stand. Okay, so we had some submitted questions. And it wasn't for a particular person. Okay, so with that, wrong side. Okay, each of you, do you believe in government subsidies or do you participate in government subsidies? You can pass that down. Is it on? Okay.
We really don't like government subsidies.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't either. I've tried to stay low profile away from that. And except for this, I just, 3 weeks ago maybe, there's something with the drought where I've got, I think, 18 cattle. And because we had such a bad drought, we pay a lot of taxes. And I went ahead and my neighbor convinced me to go up there, so I did sign up for that, for the cattle. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, FSA. That's right, for the FSA. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, so I'm going to use government options, and the reason why I'm going to do it is because if I don't, somebody else is. And my husband has fought for this country to have that, and we also pay taxes and we do those things. There are so many opportunities and grants available for farming that, again, I'm a mill deep right now on our brand new farm. I wouldn't have that if we didn't have some opportunities such as the FSA, which offers young farmers a way cheaper government or a way cheaper interest rate than I can get from a farm loan through a bank. So through our farm, we have received the EQIP grants, partly because my husband is a veteran, and we have got the waters, and then the FSA is there protecting some options because there is a drought. I don't know if anybody knows that, besides the farmers standing up here, that did have suffering for both hay, straw, everything. Like
that, and also our pond. I'm on a spring, and our pond. You know, we the reason I don't take any money. I don't take any handouts. I've always paid for things. I'm very right winger. Okay, I'm just telling you. I don't care.
She
that
is.
offends you. We pay out the yin yang on taxes on my husband's job, and I thought, you know what? I spent $60,000 putting in that pasture, that road, that pond, that spring, digging $60,000. That's not even including everything else. That's just the that is just the grading and the a little bit of fencing and the grading bill. That's not really anything else. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take every opportunity I can get to get some money back from the taxes I've paid over the years.
Okay, so can we move on? We got a bunch of questions.
Yeah, so we don't judge folks for doing that. And actually, I did look into NCRS. Bottom line up front, we don't do any of this grants. I looked into it. I wanted to run water lines out so I could do rotational grazing and have water not for the first couple of years, we were hauling it out with buckets. That gets old really fast. Walking 1,000 yards with, multiple buckets of water and half of it sloshes out. Anyway, they had very strict stipulations on what you had to do. You had to dig a trench, put down crushed limestone, use PVC. And so it actually turned out, I was just going to look at, and I'm a former government employee, so I'm into reading the fine print. You're basically giving the government or government representative access to come inspect your place all the time. So whereas I would love for any of you who are potential customers or existing customers of ours to come out to our farm, not just any time. We're not like Joel. It's not 24/7. You got to give us heads up because I have a day job and we have a lot of other things going on, but we will make time for you to show you around. But I don't want any government person out there. It's none of their business, and so that's why we don't do it.
We used to do EBTs. From our experience when we were out there, not many people, they generally just use that for like going to Dollar General and getting all those sugary stuff. But we do have a SNAP program for seniors that we still do. We do a lot of grants, but this question would be more for my mother/partner. She does all the grant writing, does a lot of it, so she can answer that better. I'll pass that.
Yeah, we take, for the crop side, participate in programs and also search for a private grant this year for the animal side. So,
okay.
Thank you.
For those of you that have raw milk for pet food consumption only, is it A2A2? So if you sell milk and it's A2A2, raise your hand.
Well, I don't sell it. I have A2A2 milk.
Okay, that's what we need to know. How many of you are totally pesticide free on your farm? Raise your hand. Okay. Those of you who sell eggs, are they soy and corn free, organic, no GMOs? Okay.
Non-GMO, soy-free options. I don't know if it has corn in it.
Okay. Vaccines. How many of you vaccinate your animals?
So I just want to say for this a little bit, and maybe I'm just a little off kilter here, but I want to know, again, I'm kind of going back to this whole investment mentality, okay? So I'm not actively seeking out to vaccinate my animals, nor my family, nor my children. But I want to know, as a consumer, are you going to stand by and let an animal die that my family has invested in if I can fix it with something? So I'm not active. Our farm, we are not actively seeking out to run a vaccination regimen, but I have seen cattle suffering, and I can save that cattle from getting an antibiotic. And I think that we need to make sure that we're being very, very mindful over this, because that cattle is my family's investment. And if somebody's going to be offended over that $10 jar of milk having a possibility after 4 cattle who haven't had that vaccine to save that one, I think we should really, that's where it comes back to know that farmer and get to the ground of it, okay?
I'll add a little thing on that.
I think it's more, the question should be routine antibiotics rather than.
Well, this wasn't even, and this wasn't even antibiotics. This was, do you vaccinate your animals? It was a question that was submitted.
And for that matter, I don't know about these other people, but I do not do any antibiotics. I'm an herbalist, so I treat in herbs, period. I don't even take aspirin. So I don't know about everybody else, but that's where I stand. Because I have the education in the herbal field.
He's got something to say. Go ahead, I'll take it.
So we focus on the health of the animal, trying to do what we can to improve that and improve the soil. And so anything that we sell does not have any antibiotics and vaccines in it. But if by chance an animal gets sick, we had to preserve the animal's life, we will do that, and that animal goes out of our meat production. It goes to the stockyard and gets sent out west or whatever, where all the rest of the animals get sent. And we also do corn, soy-free option, as well as organic option.
Okay, thank you. How many of you that do animals, and this is a new one for a lot of people, have closed herds?
Is it not breeding? from
Yeah, I mean,
outside?
yeah, because if you have, there's no way to know if you have, if you AI, which is artificial insemination, you have no way to know the health of, to do that. And I can say that because my dad runs a farm and I don't eat his meat. So
I'll say we have semi-closed, and what I mean by that, we don't do AI. So my son's rabbit business, our goats, all that stuff, we occasionally bring in some new genetics, but we bring those in as a live animal. And so we know where we're getting the stock from. We know they're healthy, and I'm considering bringing in a new buck for my herd now. So what I'll do is find a healthy one somewhere else, quarantine it, and then bring it in. So I know where it's coming from. Right?
okay, thank you. Okay, questions from the audience? Any questions, or you guys just want to visit? Okay, hold on a
Can I
second.
add something real quick?
Yes,
I'm gonna add something maybe y'all didn't think about. I don't know if this is the right thing. Anyway, I always said the 840 tags, which you know the 840 tags. Now they're doing radioactive 840 tags. I called whatever lady's vet, the main vet lady down in Tuscaloosa. Well, I said, well, it's interesting. I'm opening up this 840 tag. It's a round RFID tag. It's round, and I'm like, the outside the box or outside the bag said may cause cancer. Okay, well, you're sticking that around the cattle's ear. Y'all, nobody thinks about this kind of stuff. I've told y'all. It's another little. She said, don't let the crazy out. So here we go. All right, I called down there. Oh, I didn't even know that it didn't even have it on the label. This is what the veterinarian said down in Montgomery. I said, well, let me just tell you, I'm not putting it on my cows. So I do not put the 840 tag on the ears because that's like sticking a cell phone up to your brain 24/7 until I die, right? So that's just one thing to think about. Now, there is a back door to that, which is the old 840 tags, and I found a source for that. So I went through the roundabout way of getting that. So anyway, move on.
Oh, this is just a question about the bone broth. Can I buy some of that for my dogs?
I'm sorry. Bone broth.
Yeah, I had to buy it.
Oh, yeah, for the yeah, exactly. Yes, I'm tracking. Yes, absolutely. We sell all manner of pet food.
So with the pet food, we got raw dehydrated dog treats with us here, so it's single ingredient. And what we did last year is we saved up all of our organ meats. Instead of putting it in a compost pile, we value added it and turned it into a product we can sell.
Great idea.
So makes it more profitable for the farm, which makes the farm sustainable. But we got some of that over here, and we also sell. If somebody wants to feed raw meat to their animals, we have some people that do that. We sell that in bulk as well, because we got 2 freezers full of organ meats. So.
You're stuck with it. Just hold.
I drove up from Birmingham with my 2 friends here, and kind of a comment here, and I'd like your interpretation and your opinion on this. There's a war on food, and it's worldwide. We've seen a lot of processing plants go up in smoke here. I owned some farmland down in Panama, and I also bought a fourth of a greenhouse. Now, the fourth of a greenhouse, that was a fourth of a hectare, so it was, one I owned was bigger than this room. Terrorists came through, burned down the trees. When they didn't do a good enough job, they came back and destroyed all the greenhouses. There were quite a few greenhouses. The largest, as I understand it, the largest farmland owner in America is Bill Gates.
Yep.
And I believe the third largest is China. So you guys up there are the front line in protection against this. I really don't want to be eating my flour made out of crushed up crickets. So I appreciate what you all do. We actually bought a almost industrial-sized freeze dry machine because we want to worry about not just the quality of food, but the actual supply of food, which may dry up. So I'd like, if you all wouldn't mind giving your opinions on that, if you have any. Just one aside, is this program started with a mention of ivermectin and plaquenil. My profession is infectious diseases. I'm from Birmingham, and I work in one of the hospitals there. I watched many people die of COVID, and ivermectin works just great until the hospitals tell you can't use it. We had to smuggle it in purses. I never had a patient die who received ivermectin. And if you want to read a good book about it, Dr. Corey, who was one of the founders of the FLCCC, Frontline COVID-19 Critical Care Alliance, wrote a book called The War on Ivermectin, and it's excellent. It will tell you the background of all this. Do you know why they had to get rid of ivermectin? No, that's not the reason. The reason is the law. People invested a lot of money, a lot of the insiders invested money on the vaccines. By law, you cannot get emergency authorization if there is a drug that works. That's why they had to trash ivermectin and plaquenil, both of which work.
I'll tell you about that. You know Rebecca Wormwood.
Yes, and it needs to be Sweet Annie, not just regular wormwood. So, anyway, that's a different story for another day. Anybody have any farm-specific questions? If not, we're going to dismiss. We're going to go visit and support. Oh, Rick, sorry.
All morning to keep me from talking. You almost had it. What's y'all's biggest obstacle? What do you see as your biggest obstacle to getting your product to people? Because my wife and I have been on a mission to buy from local farms for the last 2 years. So where do you see the disconnect? I mean, what is, you guys are saying you need support, you need to get out there, you need to get your products to people, and we're like, oh my God, we need to find farmers who we can rely on when the food source dries up. We need to form relationships now with local farmers to get them profitable and stable so that they're there for us like we can be there for them. So what?
I sell raw milk for pet consumption. What do you think my biggest hurdle is? It's the government. It's the government. And it's for, I have other farm friends who are sitting in the audience, and they're having to get labels put on their meats because that's what they're allowed to sell further to do that stuff, because it all comes back to the regulations that are put on us. Again, military background, I've lived in multiple states, and some of these even harder states that I've lived in, like New York and Washington State, I can sell raw milk from my farm. You could come to me and know me as a farmer and buy my raw milk. But that's not allowed in Alabama. And Alabama tends to lean what color? So that's my biggest stipulation, my biggest struggle is, and then it comes back down to, like I said, keeping and maintaining farmland, because I'm watching it swipe up everywhere because families are selling out, and it's not, no judgment there, like we said, but it's going. I can literally turn my farm right now into a whole housing development, and we could go retire down in Cabo. But I'm here, and this is what our family's fighting for.
So you guys, thank you for coming. Give them a big round of applause. And be sure to visit them. You guys go get to your table before everyone else gets over there and gets you. Thank you for coming. Be sure and support your local farmer. Know your farmer, know your food. If you have questions, ask all the questions over there. Be sure and give Gary a big round of applause. Support Black Patch Distilling. It's been there from the beginning.